Hey everyone. I've never really cared much about graffiti or anonymous people that become famous from it. There are occasions where I see a nice one online or in person, but I usually forget about it after a while. But it's different when I see a bad graffiti piece. Like there are people that just spray paint a wall just because they want to, and they graffiti something ugly or basic. And I feel like this is the same deal with the guy in today's story, where he got somewhat popular for his unique moniker, which feels like it was made by a kid. I didn't care what happened to it. But the guy behind it sprayed it so much around his town that it became well known just for how often a cleaning crew had to come in to remove it. And it had no right to become iconic, but it somehow attracted a community that became enamored with it, to the point that someone got arrested over the obsession with it. So I'm glad that out of all the beautiful art in the world, this is the one that had a spotlight on it for a brief period.
When an unexpected anti-hero came to rise in Arizona, it started a movement leading to merchandising, fan clubs, and even copycats.
$36? No, I'm just spending that much money on a sweatshirt that says Penis Man.
Normally, the holiday season is a time for joy and celebration. While some people are out there having dinner with their families, maybe exchanging gifts, others out there are celebrating in pretty different ways. For instance, the subject, or subjects in today's video, the enigmatic personality known as Penis Man. Wreaking havoc all over the city of Tempe in Arizona, a deranged individual began spreading graffiti all over the place. He began to tag his
That's a really a good setup if it's in Arizona. That tells you a lot about the mental state of this guy.
Mattresses, Starbucks, and even outside of larger buildings. He even went the extra mile, going as far as spray painting rooftops, impressing the townspeople and leaving citizens wondering how far he was willing to go to spread his message. While most of this began around...
What message is there behind spray painting Penis Man on a roof?
At least not a priority for a few months. That all changed midway through January when the ding-dong doodler spray-painted his moniker in large print across a line of porta-potties along the river. That was the last straw. The police set out to rid the city of this menace.
Really? That was the straw that broke the camel's back? Spray painting on toilets? I guess life there is so boring, you really have to try hard. You find the most basic crime, to do something with your life.
...who take pride in their ability to get rid of the vandalism quite quickly. They're proud of the fact that, most of the time, they can take care of pesky graffiti within 24 to 48 hours, but sometimes even as quickly as 2 to 3 hours. Mr. Chavira said of the incidents, "There are some people, of course, who think it's funny. Then there are some people who are sensitive to the issue and want it removed immediately." He and his teams document every case of graffiti they find across the city. In 2019, they actually had nearly 300,000 documented cases of doodle damage throughout the city. They ranged anywhere from as small as a coin to as large as the entire side of a building. While many were...
Who reports graffiti as small as a coin? It's really ruining your life.
All things considered, Penis Man was merely a drop in the ocean when looking at those numbers. That was until he upped his game. The shaft scribbler started hitting traffic lights, city electrical boxes, and other public locations. Mr. Chavira and his team started having to dedicate a whole lot of resources just to deal with this problem alone. While some people around town...
They got 2 people to help clean up the graffiti.
Many others were offended by what they were seeing.
I see my little siblings reading it. I just think it's not very appropriate.
For me, I feel like it's okay to think it's funny, but for the whole city, I think it's probably good they're getting rid of it.
Was that her boyfriend or brother? Because you can tell he was like, alright, calm down. You have to admit, it's kind of funny. I mean, if I lived there and I saw it every single day, I probably would find it annoying. But even seeing it out on like news reports, it looks like it would be funny seeing it once. Because it really is that basic. It doesn't have like any other logo. All he does is just write on it with like no creativity. So I guess there was a limit to how much you can see it.
Mr. Chavira said that, once they found their man, he could be facing a slew of charges, anything from a few misdemeanors to a much more serious felony. He had one message for the dong drawer. Please stop. Don't do it anymore because it's making more work for us. Penis Man remained in the shadows, lurking, watching. He was enjoying his infamy. He took pleasure in the chaos. The ABC News footage gained well over 1 million views on social media. People even started making t-shirts reminiscent of the infamous tags as details of the case blew up on websites like The Cut and E-Bombs World. More importantly, the infamy came with copycats. Penis Man's message and spirit carried far and wide, landing all over town, but particularly one specific area, a local college campus. There were more tags here in this area than any other. More importantly, the historic Hayden Flour Mill, a big letter A on the Hayden Butte, which is a local landmark, and then the front door of Tempe's municipal building were also hit. People
How
took notice of this,
boring
and Penis
is this
Man gained more
county or town where one letter A is seen as a monument?
group called Penis Man fans who worshipped him as a god. They began to document and record all instances of his graffiti and even made presidential campaign-style badges in his honor. Penis Man fever was in full swing when one user online seemed to show a lot more support than any other, a man named Dustin Schomer. Posting a picture of some of the graffiti, he wrote a statement. Can't stop them from coming and coming and coming all over the place.
Oh my god.
Dustin Schomer, 38.
Some 7-year-old would like come up there and be like, this is genius. That's the funniest joke in history.
Student at Arizona State University, studying literature and the Japanese language. After getting a degree...
Wait, hold on. He studied Japanese as well?
in the Japanese language.
Oh, he's definitely a nerd, yeah.
Moved
God.
to Germany, living and working there for 9 years. However, by this point, he was a self-proclaimed slacker and musician. He had recently been fired from a customer service job in December of that year. People weren't taking as much of an interest in the copycat artists, saying that while the original was an artist, the copycats were nothing more than a mere cheap imitation. Dustin
God, clean your
took great
teeth,
offense
man,
to
God.
this, saying, "Thanks for gatekeeping art and activism. We are all Penis Man. Penis Man has come to unite us."
God, it's so...
You might wonder what
obnoxious.
activism this message was even referring to. Well, Dustin had a message that he wanted to spread far and wide. I'm sure the message is actually something that a lot of you can get behind, especially in this day and age, that investors...
I probably could, but the fact that this guy is being the forefront of it makes me despise it.
An understandable message indeed, but what does it have to do with Penis Man? Well, the police would have a chance to ask when they caught one of the Chode champions red-handed, right in the act of spray painting one of the now infamous tags. On Thursday, January 23rd, the Arizona State University police observed none other than Dustin Schomer in the midst of spraying his Gherkin graffiti all over a campus wall. They called the Tempe police to come and arrest the heinous individual. The police were more than ready. They were going to take the perpetrator down, and they were going to spare no expense. They called in the entire SWAT team to rain down on Dustin's condo.
Oh my
They surrounded
God.
the complex and swarmed, sending in 25 heavily armed SWAT officers into his home. When they broke in, they put a rifle to his face and ordered him to surrender.
I
Of
was
this
joking when I said they were going to
Dustin
shoot
later
him.
stated, "Anyone with any doubt who the bad guys are here, be certain it is the city of Tempe, city of Phoenix, and police forces valley-wide. There is
So
no
far
excuse
this-
for pointing
oh,
an
no.
AR-15 in the face of a non-violent offender." They booked him
So far, the story seems so made up. Like, it doesn't even feel realistic. The idea of someone who's like copying from some like, anonymous graffiti artist for just saying penis man, then a SWAT team shows up to his house to put a bullet in his head. Like, that feels like something a madman would come up with. You know, if you saw the graffiti every single day of your life in a town you were born and raised in, you probably would be on the verge of just killing someone, or at least someone close to who you think is guilty. So, fair enough. Plus, the guy seemed kind of like, you know, embarrassing or cringy.
for criminal trespassing, all for incidents related to his tagging. Dustin began to become irrational while talking to the police, claiming that people from his childhood were coming to kill him, saying that he felt the other Penis Man tags were coming from local politicians. He confirmed that he was indeed getting help for mental health related issues. Over time, he was hit with more and more charges, ending up with a grand total of 33 felonies and misdemeanors. He was realistically facing up to 24 years in prison if he were to be convicted on all counts. Not having much money to his name, Dustin started a GoFundMe page in order to pay his legal fees. He aimed for a $10,000 goal, but he fell flat, only reaching $3,400.
Is that the amount for the bail? Because at the same time, 24 years does not feel anywhere near as equal to be like $10,000. Like, it should feel way more. And even then, that long of a sentence feels like
Many
a
of
bit
his donors
too
said
strict for just, you know, graffiti.
Hashtag Free Penis Man and We Are All Penis Man. On October 16th, Dustin pled not guilty to the charges against him. However, the public was left wondering, was this really Penis Man? Was it the original? Something felt kind of off. While originally Penis Man seemed to be nothing more than a renegade artist, this one seemed a little too politically motivated. Well, none other than
What
Dustin
politics can you
himself
have
came out
behind
to
that?
clear up the confusion, saying, "I'm not the original. There are hundreds of copycats with very distinctively different handwriting. He said that, among all of the tags, he had only made a few of them. He was simply inspired by the original to spread some tags of his own. Not only that, Dustin was able to confirm that he wasn't the only Dong disciple out there. Adding validity to his claim, at least one new tag was spotted after his arrest. The original, was out there somewhere. Dustin stated, "Penis Man is neither man nor woman, you nor me. We are all Penis Man."
I feel like some kid who just found his favorite word and he just wants you to repeat it over and over and over. At this point, I wouldn't be surprised if they just, send the entire team to clear the entire county, just make sure he's not out there.
One going by the strange moniker, Menacepan. This Menacepan claimed to be none other than the original,
Ugh.
the real Penis Man himself.
What the fuck?
On his account, he wrote,
Mask. Where do
"Dustin
you buy a
Schomer died
mask
for
like
my
that from?"
sins," and provided many examples of his own graffiti. When local news stations didn't know whether or not to believe that he was the original, he sent them a short video of himself wearing a pink ding-dong mask and writing his signature tag in his original style on a piece of paper for the camera. He stated that this video should be proof enough. The website The Medium was able to score an interview with him. In this brief interview, he went on to explain his experiences being Penis Man and all of the infamy that came along with it. He was asked about his first experience doing something like this, to which he responded, "I sprayed 'Satan is taking his' on the back wall of an abandoned grocery store when I was in high school, a lyric from a Merciful Fate song. Years later, I went back and did some politically charged graffiti on the same wall, long painted over, that's pretty cringy to think about now. A few years after that,
Thank God he has some, hindsight to see that's cringy.
and we tagged the name of the band everywhere we went. So technically that was my first moniker, albeit shared. I continued writing it now and then over the following years until I went into labor with Penis Man. When he was asked how this
I envy people like him that have so few problems in life that they see this as the main quest to do.
I went through a mattress phase in the beginning. Big white canvases that seemed to spawn in new alleys every night. After a few weeks, I started seeing some discarded a little too serendipitously against walls next to busy streets. I became paranoid, thinking they were traps, and I moved on to walls. He was asked how he decides which places to hit, to which he replied, "The opportunities present themselves, almost always unplanned. Half of the time I go out looking with intent on writing, the other half happen while I'm handling other business." Speaking of the recent copycats, he said, "I do support the copycats as well as encourage it. Sharing identity may be an antithesis of graffiti, but some consider me the anti-hero. So here it goes." When asked about the
That's kind of surprising. He seems like the kind of person that would be so dead set on this being his character. Like, no, only I own this iconic phrase.
Or "We're all Penis Man," I feel like I could walk into the Tempe Police Department to turn myself in and they wouldn't believe me. Some unfortunate supporter will likely get caught before I do and be subjected to the heat that I kindled. I apologize in advance. Right he was. 1 year later, Dustin Schomer pleaded guilty to aggravated criminal damage, defacing a school, and attempt to commit trespassing in a critical public service facility, both of which are felonies. Due to this plea, 31 of the other counts against him were dropped. Superior Court Judge Teresa Sanders officially handed down a sentence to Dustin. He was sentenced to 3 years of supervised probation in order to pay $8,000 in restitution for the damages he had caused. He was hit with a deferred 4-month jail sentence that would be erased if he were able to complete 500 hours of community service. The felonies against him would be bumped down to misdemeanor charges as well. He was also ordered to seek additional mental health care. Seeing this, Menace Pan, the original Penis Man himself, decided to retire. He felt guilty that, as he previously stated, Dustin had indeed gone down because of his sins. He wrote one final message on social media, stating, "I am currently writing a zine about my experience with this social experiment gone awry, and how what started as a joke became a goal to get on the news, gained unexpected viral attention, consumed a community, confused my identity, and incarcerated a mentally ill man. I will admit that the attention would occasionally get to my head and at times almost deluded me into believing I was something I definitely wasn't. Crazy what perceived clout can do. I will provide details about said zine/book release date in the near future. Until then, you will not be hearing from me anymore. It was a fun 15 minutes. A flash in the meanest pan.
You know,
Thank you for tolerating me.
I respect him for being kind of humble, because most people that would be kind of like cringy like him would be so prideful in the fact they created this huge trend of graffiti that it'd be like, I am a god, but they would see themselves as one. So I appreciate that when this whole thing blew up, he took the time to like kind of step back and be like, okay, this is kind of getting a bit too big for something so dumb like Penis Man. I should maybe just, you know, calm down a bit and tell people to just stop, which you definitely should have. So,
Doesn't
you know,
seem that the
respect
book
to
he
him.
planned on writing has ever been released.
Yeah, I was about to say as well, if he released that book, he probably would make a lot of money from people just saying like, yeah, I bought the book from Penis Man.
That was until February of 2023. After a long hiatus, history was made once again when the infamous tag started appearing again in Phoenix, Arizona this
Oh,
time.
not again.
His legacy was erected once again, to new lengths this time. Citizens were both overjoyed and appalled to see the legendary art displayed on a trash can outside of the Green Woodpecker Bar at Park Central in Midtown Phoenix. This
No, not the
particular
Woodpecker
establishment
Bar.
was only located a few miles from Dustin Schomer's home, although it's doubtful that he was the perpetrator. There are no records that he has been connected to a crime ever since his arrest, and both his social media is gone and his phone is disconnected. He has become a ghost. But if it wasn't him, then who was it? Could it be that Menace Pan, the original, had come out of retirement, or was it someone else? Well, one theory was going around online, saying that it might be the frontman of a Houston rock band, Water Parks, named Austin Knight.
He
Some
definitely
people
did.
even photoshopped his image onto old newspaper reports speaking of Dustin. However, it doesn't seem that he necessarily hates the rumors, as he has signed prints of the fake article for his fans.
Right, someone on Photoshop did something to his head. That looks way too bright. Like, that looks like physically impossible to be that bright in real
Prints
life.
of the fake
No
article
way.
for his fans. Dustin has previously stated that he felt the original Penis Man was actually one of his old high school friends who coerced him into painting the graffiti in the first place. But there was
Okay,
no proof.
dude, calm down.
Even if he wasn't the original, he could still be a prominent copycat, though. Either way, Penis Man lives on in all of his followers. It doesn't seem that the tags are going to die out.
All 10 followers of his.
Actually, the downfall of Penis Man has led to the rise of another player in the game, Penis Girl. Penis Girl has been a menace, spraying her tag all over the western United States, on bus benches and train tunnels, but even going as far as climbing billboards to spray her message for onlookers to see from afar. Her identity is still completely unknown. City officials have stated, if you are aware of a victim of Penis Man, please have them contact our non-emergency number so we
victim?
can come out and take a report.
Did someone have the word penis girl spray paint on their face?
To this day, the Penis Man Appreciation Society continues to document and report any instances of
It barely has under 1,000 followers. Thank you,
taggings
God.
on Twitter. It seems that they both find entertainment in his antics and support his cause and his message. It seems that, in the end, Penis Man will never die. He will continue to penetrate our hearts, giving us just a tip on how to live our lives. Let us extend our
That
condolences
sucks.
to those harmed by his crimes, but at the same time harden our resolve to be better people. We're all
Don't do
members of
puns,
society
come
in
on.
one way or another, so don't get too cocky about this. We should use all of our tools at our disposal and go to whatever lengths necessary to...
For fuck's
I'm out
sake.
of puns.
Thank you, God.
Hey, Scotty. It's penis, man.
God damn. That the video?
Once again, everyone, thank you for watching my video.
No, thank you. I hope when the world is ravaged by nuclear warfare, the one story that stands the test of time is Penis Man. God damn. You know, on one side, I'm glad that life in that small part of the world is so quaint that that really is a big issue in people's life. But there's nothing else you can really do, so you might as well, you know, just chase the person that's doing it or send in a SWAT team. I just can't believe that, man. Like, I'm not sure if the police saw, like, that was the original guy, or if they knew it was just some guy who was trying to, like, copy him. But the fact, like, they were so... right off the bat, just send an entire team, like a SWAT team, bust in through his front door with guns ready, just in the off chance that he might fight back. Like, that's still, like, insane to me. They're probably one of those teams that barely have any activity in the year, so they try to get one good job before they retire to make it seem like they did something with their life. But apart from that, this guy made it seem like the fan base for this guy, the graffiti artist, is so massive that they can sway the public opinion on him, that they could probably, like, get him out of a court case and make him innocent. But when he showed that screenshot of that Twitter account with like under 1,000 followers, it really just felt like a group of friends that found this really unfunny joke like insane, and they wanted to make it seem massive. And of course, when the original guy like barely finds it, good, like even he himself was like, okay, I'm gonna quit doing this because it's dumb. It is not gonna be like an entire movement throughout the country to get this graffiti on every single street. And even if it was, I feel like the effort to get removed quickly would be even bigger. Like the guy in the video mentioned how they were able to like clean it off in under 3 days, which to me is kind of surprising because I've seen most graffiti that lasted for like years, and the only sign of it getting removed is just like the paint getting washed off slightly by the rain. Apart from that, nobody really gives a shit. So I'm thankful I live in a universe where this penis ban movement wasn't massive. It's like quarantined to at best 100 people that actually want it to happen. Maybe in a different life, this guy was like a prophet who started a new religion based on this really dumb, cringy art piece, That would be interesting, but it's hard for me to say that I would want to be part of it, unfortunately.